All right, team, welcome to the kitchen. We are prepping nutrition and hydration for the Backyard Ultra. I'm going to take you through exactly what I'll be eating, drinking, consuming all day long and hopefully all night long on Saturday. Let's get started. All right, kicking things off with an absurd amount of apples. I don't know how many I got, but it was $15 worth and I did count them, but I can't remember. But that will be for some puree, which I'll probably add a little demo to the video if I have time. Basically just making a lot of apple puree because it's easy to get down, it's a good source of carbs, it tastes pretty good, and yeah. So that's number one, hundreds and thousands of apples. Right, then we have the predominant carb source. The thing that will be fueling me most, and everything else is just a bit of a top up, is Tailwind. Now, we've got two flavors, lemon and naked or unflavored. I'm going to be rotating through 2 scoops of lemon, followed by 2 scoops of naked Tailwind each lap. So every lap I'll have 50 grams of carbs purely coming from the Tailwind. That will also be 620 milligrams of sodium per lap as well, per 500 flask. So I will fill up one of these 500 ml Salon flasks with 2 scoops and 500 mils of water. And that will give me my water, my electrolytes, and a base level of 50 grams of carbs per yard per hour. So if I take that on, then I am off to a pretty good start and everything else is a fantastic bonus. I'm aiming for minimum 70 grams of carbs per hour, maximum 90, 95, depending on the lap. So trying to get lots in and in different forms as well. So Tailwind will be the base and then we will add everything on top. So the next thing on our list is we'll go through kind of the main solid foods that I'll be taking every 4th or 5th hour as kind of a main meal. First up, 2-minute noodles. Let me get you out of the dark cupboard, that's not prime viewing. 2-minute noodles, carbs, easy to digest, bit of sodium, and if it gets a bit cool overnight, then that will help keep me warm. Then we're going to cook up some white rice. Easy white rice, might have it with some soy sauce or I don't know, tomato sauce or something, nothing too crazy. Probably just mostly plain rice. Every couple of hours. Pasta. I don't think I'll have pasta on the day because I find it quite like heavy and gluggy and just hard to digest. So that will be day before, that'll be Friday lunch, Friday dinner. Not so much during the actual run. Meal number 1 will be some rice. Meal number 2 will be some potatoes, which I've got in the fridge. You know what potatoes look like, so I'm not going to show you. Meal number 3 will be the white rice, and meal number 4 will be something else that I've totally forgotten about, but we'll remember as we go. Now, on to some snacks. There's more apples. I knew there was lots of apples. Pop those over there with the other ones. All right, so some snack options. We have the savory options. Bit of sodium, bit of carbs, nice. Smith chips, can't go wrong. Another snack, which I think is a bit of a luxury because they're so expensive and I very rarely buy them unless they're on special. Rice cakes, covered one side in chocolate. So bit sweet, bit savory. These will be a nice little reward for when I'm needing something to boost my morale and something delicious. More apples, would you believe it? And lollies. Now, fun fact, killer pythons, which are just like big giant snakes, if you don't know, are 18.6 grams per snake. And in this bag, there is 8 killer pythons. So 8 servings of 18.6 grams. That is not much less than a standard gel. So that's going to be a really easy way to get in some high levels of carbohydrates. So I got 2 packets of those. And then some jelly beans, because again, easy to digest. Carb, 17.5 grams per 9 jelly beans. So I've got to have like a bit of a handful of that to have a proper serving. I think I'll get sick of all the sweet stuff, which is why those chips will be quite helpful, and the rice and all that kind of thing. Pesto. Sorry, this is a bit out of order, but this is to go with my pasta on the night before. Now, a couple of liquid carb options. So, apple juice, because we know that I love apples, and a random one, Ribena cordial. Now, this will be mixed with water. This will be as is. Now, this can be either a replacement to my Tailwind on an occasional lap where I'm just sick of having Tailwind and want a different taste, different flavour, or this can just be an extra thing that I sip on during the rest periods to bump up the carbs, but also get some hydration in at the same time. So if I'm purely getting my carbs and electrolytes from food, then I'm kind of not getting all the hydration in at the same time. So this is just a nice way to boost up both of those. What other things we got? A few random ones. We've got tins of peaches. These are refreshing, delicious, easy to digest, high in carb. Let's check the serving. So we've got 3 serves per tin and 19 grams per serve. So a third of a can of this is basically a gel again. So you don't have to just use your gels, especially when you're doing this kind of backyard ultra. You can really mix it up. Now, random one, tomato soup. What's this? 26 grams of carbs for the serving, which is a tin, I think. 1 serving? Yep. I just thought if it gets cold, I want something warm and kind of comforting. So tomato soup could be a go. Haven't had it on a run before, which I would never recommend doing, but I feel like it's a pretty safe bet for me. Now, again, I've really splurged here. These oat slices are so ridiculously expensive, but delicious and a little bit more fiber than I would typically go for. So this would be something that I would probably have the morning when I've only got a little bit of time left to go. My stomach's already not going to be working very well, so I think we will just save these for something enjoyable if I need them. They may not get eaten, but they're there if I need them. A couple of bonus baby foods. So we've got a pear and a pear and mango, just to mix up the flavors and add in something that's just easy and safe. Now, this is a hack for anyone doing an ultramarathon, is some sort of mints or chewing gum or some sort of breath freshener, because as you've just seen, and I'll show you again, there is going to be a lot of sugar to be consumed throughout the run. Also, bananas will be coming as well, but I'll buy them closer to the day. It's going to be a lot of sugar. So having something minty, fresh, refreshing will be nice to cleanse the palate and just get rid of that gross taste. Because I remember last year having lemon tailwind every lap. It was just sickly sweet for so long. So the savory foods and the mint will be helpful. Now, there's a few things that I haven't gone through yet. I'm not sure if I have any left. Oh yes, got one left from Run Club. Something that was really useful last year was the classic Zupa Duper. So just an ice block. I don't actually know the carbs on these. Let's have a little look together now. You're not going to see that. 11 grams per serving. So one of these little ice blocks, or regular sized ice blocks, is 11 grams per serve. Now, it's meant to be 26 degrees on Saturday when the race is. So that could be a little bit warm. Definitely not as hot as last year, and it's autumn now, so I think it'll be pretty cool in the morning and pretty cool in the evening. So they might not be as necessary, whereas last year they were the best thing ever because it was so hot, but they will still be helpful to get some more carbs in. There's a little bit of hydration in there as well with some water as the base, and then just cooling things down as well. While I'm in the fridge as well, I will show you one of my apple purees that is pre-prepared and ready to go. So I'm going to freeze some of these, and then I'm going to take just a container filled with the excess so that I can, well, my crew can top that up throughout the run. Now, I'm not just relying on real foods. I have also got plenty of gels. So my favorite brand, shout out, not sponsored, wish I was sponsored, is Pure Gel. We've got peach, we have lemon lime, and we should have raspberry as well. Now, the raspberry ones particularly are caffeinated. So I've put this on my schedule, which I'll put on the screen right now. Caffeinated gels will be towards the nighttime to keep me awake. I don't typically have caffeine in my day-to-day. I don't drink coffee, so I'm not going to rely on it too much, but it might just be that little bit of performance enhancing and fatigue management that I will need. So Pure gels are here. 3 raspberry, 4 lemon, 4 peach, and I might have something else. I might have some other things in here too, but I'll need to go through. There's a few random Precision Morton gels. There's a Morton caffeine. There's some blocks. I've got all sorts of things that I've kind of bought throughout the training process and not really consumed. I've also got some plain electrolytes from Precision, which I didn't love, but would be a good extra. And what I will take, I'll put in my pile, was the electrolyte capsules. So if I get sick of having tailwind or I just want to mix it up, I might have a lap where I have some fruit juice or cordial, and then I'll have, in replacement of the electrolytes that I'll be missing, I'll have some salt tabs from Precision so that I'm not losing out on the sodium, magnesium, potassium, all that good stuff. So that was a bit of a rapid fire summary of what I will be having. You can see it all laid out there. There's a few more things that I will get. So I'll be getting some bread on Friday so that it's nice and fresh, and I'll be having that with some jam. I feel like I bought jam. I don't normally eat jam. Does jam go in the fridge or the cupboard? That's a good question. Oh yes, here it is. So I bought jam for a training run previously, so I've got some of that there, but I will get some bread and I'm going to make some jam sandwiches and have those sporadically throughout. What's the other thing I was going to buy? There are a few fresh things, so bananas, fresh bread. I think they're the main ones that I will buy later this week, and then I'll probably end up panic buying a few other things and bringing that along, but basically this is a rough summary of what I will be having. Now I'm going to take you through the numbers. All right, so I've made up a bit of a spreadsheet, which I will on the screen here somewhere. But basically, let me talk you through it. So we have each yard, each distance that the yard will be, and how long, and the time that each of those yards will start. We've then got food options, what I'll have in my 500ml flask, so what hydration I'll be having, the total grams of carbs per yard as well, and the total milliliters of water, the total amount of sodium, and then I've got a room for other, so things like putting a sunscreen on, changing shoes, changing clothes, putting a headlamp on, those kind of reminders. Then I've got who my main support crew are at that time, and then I've got an estimated time for how long I'm hoping that lap will take. I've split the sections up. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. It's going to be quite blurry, but I'll put it on the screen anyway. I've split them up into 4 lots of 6 hours. So pretty much we are breaking it down into quarters. So at the end of each quarter or the end of each 6 hour is when I'll have that bigger meal. So there's things like the rice, the potatoes, the 2-minute noodles, the jam sandwiches. I'll try and consume those every 6 hours as my main meal. So my lunch, my dinner, and then my midnight snack, and then hopefully my breakfast. And then in and around that, I'll be having those extra things, the killer pythons, the apple puree, the tins of peaches, some chips, caffeine gels, normal gels, all that kind of thing will be sprinkled throughout. I've got a rough idea of what I want per lap, and that is purely just based on having something in addition to the tailwind, but it doesn't mean I necessarily have to have that thing at that time slot. What I found quite challenging last year was not having a really specific plan, and my crew would just ask me what I wanted each time, which I just got a little bit annoyed at because I just got to a point where I just didn't want to answer any questions. I just wanted to be handed something. So what we're hoping to do is have a big clear screen, which is what Lauren Marshall, who won the Backyard Ultra 2 years ago, suggested, and she did herself. Have a big screen up with lots of things in it. Now what we're going to do is have in each pocket what I'm going to be taking on each yard. So we can tick that off mentally, we can visually see what we're up to, what I've had, what I've consumed, what I haven't consumed, and that will be a really nice way to stay on track of the nutrition and hydration. And just logistically and planning wise, it'll be really helpful to have that visual there. So every 6 hours we have a meal. Every other lap, we just have something small to get me to around that 70 to 90 grams of carbs per hour. Right, I think that is a bit of a rough agenda of what's happening. I've got heaps of things to do. I've got some visualization to do. I've got some planning, logistics, got more shopping to do, tapering to be had, lots of rest, lots of sleep. So bit of a whirlwind whiz through this, but don't forget to check out the video that I did with Freya, which was a little bit unplanned and a little bit of a spontaneous conversation around some mental preparation and really interesting insights from a psychotherapist about visualization, expectations, lots of different things that I can't think of right now because my brain is a bit scattered, but definitely check that out. Really, really interesting conversation. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you on Saturday, hopefully.